off of working hard. And then when I felt like when we came back to the house, she dedicated all her time to be a wife, and that's cool and everything. But that's not really what I like fell in love with her about. Like she.
Oh, baby, listen. Hey, guys, welcome to Little Black Book. Little Black Book, you know what time it is. Listen, let's talk to you guys about Clay, his interview. You guys have been asking me to review this and what my thoughts were. Can I give you an overall summary really, really quickly? I really thought it was actually a really good interview. One thing I have to say about Clay is he is a very aware person, which makes it more easier to really understand where he's coming from, because he will give you some of the motivations as to why he does what he does and why he thinks the way he does. And I almost think a little bit like, you know what, I almost think that when I watch AD versus Clay, AD lacks a bit of that awareness aspect, right? And sometimes I think there's a little bit of delusion there. Well, I think both of them are delusional in some aspects, and we're all a little bit delusional, including myself. But I feel like he's got more of a bit of awareness. Now the next part is obviously implementing that awareness. That's what takes you to that next step. But I think this interview was a very candid one. I think he went through some of the topics really well. And I thought also the way he handled the finance conversation, because I know a lot of people were like, oh my God, did he talk about AD being a sugar baby? He did, he touched on it, but what he was really kind of saying is he didn't fully understand it because the way she explained it. Now, I've watched another interview of hers and she kind of goes into a further expanse about what the sugar baby situation is. I will explain that a little bit later on. When I talk about it later on, but I did understand what he meant about the entrepreneurship and wanting her, and falling in love with somebody who's ambitious. I've experienced it before, so I actually understand where he's coming from. I was all trying to figure out, do I want the person who will support my dream completely, or do I want the person who's going to have their own vision and their own dream? And I found myself now on a scale of, I'm more on the right hand side. I want a person who's going to have their own dream, own vision, which means I'm going to have to find a way in order to make your dream work, my dream work, and simultaneously make us come together as a unit. That is the job of a leader, and that's your job, to able to infuse both visions, that both parties are able to achieve what they want to achieve. Okay, that's a very difficult task, and I wouldn't say it's more harder. It's just a different task than somebody having their own vision and the wife following that vision. All right, so that is something to think about. Before you jump on Clay's neck, it actually is something that men have to think about, what kind of woman they want, because there are different types of women. There are women that work, there are women that want to stay home and be a mother to the kids. There are some women who want to do a bit of both, be a mix. It really depends. Not everybody wants both those things. You know what I'm saying to you? So it's about growth in that aspect and understanding what that person wants. All right, so we're gonna get into this video, but before we do, make sure you guys like, share, subscribe, click on the bell button for notification uploads. We have 14 things we're gonna get through in this episode, and I want to tell you, listen, I've split it into 4 things, right? I've put into 4 topics here: family transformed, I've got Clay on Love is Blind, I've got processing his growth, and then I've got AD sugar daddy business. We're going to break it all the way down. Stick with us for the next few minutes to understand these particular topics, and I'll break it down to 14 things as well. Let's get the show rocking. You know what time it is. All right, first things first, let's talk about this family transformed. One of the areas that he spoke about on the show was dealing with his family being transformed, and he actually spoke about how his mother, wanted him on the show to be actually on Married at First Sight, not necessarily. Not necessarily the fact that he was on Love is Blind, because Love is Blind wasn't the show that she was meant to go on. Now, I want to be honest with you. None of the shows are going to benefit him, because if you think you're going to use a woman here to be your processing of your trauma, then I'm just going to tell you, you'd have suffered in both ways, because you weren't ready to get married. So if you weren't married at first sight, you'd have been forced into a marriage and then forced into probably a divorce when you felt you weren't ready. So I don't think any of the shows would have been beneficial. So let's have.
It's like, my dad's my hero, and like I didn't really process those things when I was a kid, when it was happening. Like, so when I was with AD and you're like faced with this time where you got to get married, like I just saw that it was a hurdle. It really wasn't me even trying to like snitch on my dad or anything like that.
All right, cool. So we'll get to that point in a second or two. But yes, his mum wanted to go on the show Married at First Sight. I think that was quite interesting that his mum wanted to go on Married at First Sight. I don't think he would have been ready for that. Second thing, obviously, the mum obviously, well, I said the situation was dealing with the trauma of the family. And something that the show did, by being on Love is Blind, it forced the conversation. Now, we got to see a little bit of that conversation, and the black world sphere got to see one of the greatest conversations where the mum held the dad accountable. The dad had to actually come to terms with the fact that he is a big part of the issues and the reason why Clay is the way he is. Now, I don't know if it's in this particular interview, because I've watched quite a few of his, where he actually explains that his dad actually did apologize. I think it's in this one. And came to the family and apologized to everybody and said, he didn't realize his impact. So he has since taken accountability, I guess, or at least apologized. So that's the start, I guess, of that accountability. The other part would be some actions that get taken on place. And apparently the dad is in therapy. So I think he started his journey too. So now it looks like the dad's also doing his bit as well as Clay. So this looks like a great moment, and it's a great story, I think, also for anybody out there who thinks that their family is irretrievable or irredeemable, where things have gone on for so long, it's like it can't change. But you know what? The good Lord says, you know what? If he can resurrect Jesus from the grave, let me tell you something, then anything is possible. You know, there is nothing that's beyond saving so long as you have breath. The Bible says it's better to be a living dog than a dead lion. So no matter how powerful or proud the lion is, if it's dead, it's dead. There's nothing you can do about it. But if so long as the animal's alive, as long as the dog is alive, he has hope. And so your family can be retrieved. And I love the fact that they were able to have that moment, and it spurned conversation in that family to say, look, we need to change some things. You know, it's hopeful for some of us who have family dynamics which are not too great. A lot of us have family dynamics which are not impressive, or we have family dynamics which are very painful. And I want to do a separate video for that, because I think that's something to really talk about as well. Number 3 was he's not processed his childhood, which is what that video you just saw. He hasn't processed the childhood. And so at the time when he went onto the show, AD became, what I explained on my other videos, AD became this person who was now processing the childhood trauma with him. Unfortunately, she became his helper and became his therapist and became his nurse rather than his actual lover. And so in these situations, when you're, and I spoke about this in other videos, building an emotional connection with somebody, you don't want to be their savior. You want to be their lover. You want to be the person who loves on them, cares about them, you know what I'm saying? But you ain't trying to solve their trauma. They want to do that themselves. They have a propensity, and they have a propelling and a self-motivation to want to fix those issues, so that you don't have to be the one that's always in a position of fixing the issue. And sometimes we jump ahead because we have a savior complex and try to say something. I think that's what happened here with AD and Clay a little bit. And Clay knew that and took advantage of that as well, right? It takes two. It's a mirrored conversation. This also a situation is that he felt like AD offended his mother, but to be very clear here, I don't think AD necessarily offended his mother here by what she said. Right now, let's be very clear. What AD had said originally in the thing was that she didn't want to be like his mother. I'll play a clip.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Yeah, my mom definitely got respect for AD. I don't think she liked the comment that AD made though at the reunion.
She didn't want to be your mom.
Yeah, it's like AD, what you talking about, man? Like, my mom was married for 23 years. Like, you wish, you know what I mean?
No. She shouldn't wish. Your mom had 23 years, and a lot of it was through infidelity. And she might not, if she didn't know a lot of that many years that she was being cheated on, then it's a different situation. But when you know you've been cheated on for the last 23 years, that is not a positive. At that point, you don't get gratification of being in a situation where you've been cheated on for 23 years. Because in reality, the person's been cheating you. That's the whole point of the cheating. I don't get excited if I know my partner was cheating on me for the past 2 years. It was a great relationship when I think about it. But actually, no, when I'm deeper, I'm like, no, those 2 years I was being cheated. I wasn't in a... So, yes, of course, 23 years is not no easy feat. But the reality was, she was being cheated on for 23 years. Let's not say, I wish you could. Like, that gives bitterness on your side. And the mum shouldn't be offended, because at the end of the day, AD didn't want to be the mum. She didn't want to be in the same situation. I get it. I totally understood it. But it could have been worded probably a little bit different. Maybe it should have been done off camera, not on camera. I get it. But I think she was trying to reply back to what Clay was saying at the time, which was like, hey, I'm not trying to be your mother. Like, I'm not trying to be in the same position. And I totally get that. And he shouldn't expect that she should be in the same position as his mother. Right? Because no matter how he looks at it, you can't gloss over the fact that 23 years, yes, whilst you can take some positives from it, if you've been cheating for the majority of the time, you've cheated the longevity of that relationship. Really and truly, you've been abusing that relationship. That's not something to be proud of. And I kind of get excited about that. You know what I'm saying to you? Yeah. Number 5, bro code being accessed. Let me just play.
So thank God they didn't really get a lot of my mom, conversation like that, because that was the first time she ever heard about that. And I thought I told her, but
you didn't tell your mama.
I thought I told
that your daddy was cheating on.
Now, obviously, if I play the clip more, I don't want to get in trouble for the copyright, but he actually goes on to say, like, listen, he didn't want to tell his mom because he felt like bro code. He was breaking bro code with his dad because, again, he was a very young kid. He's a child, and his dad is, his dad is at fault here. He's causing him to be in a position where he has to keep quiet about what he saw. Now, that's a dad issue. The dad was wrong for that, and the dad was absolutely at fault for that. And so I understood where he's coming from. And actually, this links back to another interview that he did with Tamron Hall, where she spoke about the mum said about not forgiving him because of what he had said. And I was like, oh, okay. Oh no, what for not forgiving? She had to learn how to forgive him because of what had been done. And I was like, why did you forgive it? Now I get it now. He didn't say anything. But at the same time, it wasn't his fault. He was a young kid. He was under the influence of an older parent. The dad has to take the blame here. So, you know, the fact that he thought he told his mum, he knew he didn't tell his mum. That's why the girls called him out. You know you didn't tell your mum. You know what I mean? If those of us who've experienced and witnessed stuff like this, it's very hard to go and tell your parent this kind of stuff, right? So I know that this ain't going to be no easy feat, and I'm not trying to blame him. But you know you didn't tell your mum, right? So he said, I thought I did. I told my little brother. I thought you would have told him. No. We all know you didn't tell your mum, bro. Clay on Love is Blind, he talks about his cheating and talks about the altar as well. Let's get to part 2 of this. I'm going to get to this because I think it's really important because he addresses the cheating part. But the first part I want to address is him working all day. Let's get to that clip as well.
From 9 to 7, I was tired. Like, you know, like you're at the lake all day, the sun is beaming on you. I'm pushing the boat. I'm doing a lot of this by myself. So what happened was my jet ski stayed in my garage. I got to my house, and honestly, I just crashed. I got to the house. I was at the sun all day. It was a hot day, and I just crashed. It just happens. Like,
Reason why that date that she put on, where she was, she had prepared a date and everything like that, and then she didn't come into it. She talks about obviously how that day what happened. He crashed out. He was working hot in the sun. He was getting the jet skis prepared, everything like that. And I actually understand it. I give him a bit of stick earlier on, but I totally understand it. Like, then he's an hour and a half away. Here's my thing. As a leader, and again, I'm gonna put myself in this position as a leader. Communication, paramount. Communication paramount. Why wasn't there communication with her? To let her know, babe, listen, I'm probably not gonna come home. Don't plan anything, please. Don't cook anything. I'm not coming home. Why wasn't that communication? You knew you were getting tired before you got tired. So if you knew that, you have to communicate ahead of time. Number 2, you guys weren't filming that day. He says that they weren't filming that day. So if you weren't filming, you could have asked her to come up. Say, hey, babe, listen, look, I want to spend some time with you. I'm probably going to crash out. Come up here. Let's just, I'm not going to be very active because I'm very tired. Can we just crash tonight? Because I've been working all day. Right? That's still wanting you to fester her presence and time with her, knowing that you guys, because of the distance, she could have drove up. Right? She could have drove up. You get what I'm saying to you? So, and because you weren't filming that night. So, in reality, he could have done something a little bit different. He could have communicated. He could have prepared. He could have planned. And that's what a good leader on the fly is doing. And they're shifting and adapting to the environment. And that's all he needed to do. But he's already told us he's not a very good leader when it comes to relationships. But I understand why that can happen. But a simple communication, it could have been, okay, babe, I can't come tonight. I've got to stay here. You know, I'm gonna rest up here and I'm gonna come in the morning and we'll do something nice. It didn't do that. Instead, he just crashed out. Now, don't get it twisted. You can use the excuse of, oh, I'm working and men are working very hard. I get it. But you're working hard, you need to maintain your relationship. And maintaining a relationship means emotionally connecting and learning how to communicate to make sure your partner knows where they're at and not leaving them hanging. Okay, just making money is not the only requirement when it comes to leading your relationship. There are more things to provide for, unfortunately, and that's what you get as a responsibility, as the power of the head. As a head, you get the power and you get the authority, but you also get responsibility. Things fall on your head. You've got to communicate, right? As he dated Laura, she obviously got a drawing about him, and obviously they put that into a group. But he knew that AD was black. Now it's quite interesting because later on in the show, at a reveal, if you remember correctly, they were talking, and they both kind of said, are you dark skinned? They're almost surprised that they were dark skinned. Do you know what I mean? So I don't know. They're not allowed to talk about color. I know, but the fact they knew each other was black, I guess by the voice he said. But they were obviously surprised by the skin tone of each other, that both of them were dark skinned, which is interesting. I always found that was a little bit iffy when they said it at the time. Now, I want to address the cheating aspect because this what is interesting for me. Okay. Because this makes no sense. Okay, no matter how much the editing played a part in it, this actually doesn't make any sense. Listen to his response, and I'll tell you why it doesn't make sense.
To get married, and that's what I was articulating. They kept on having me say, I'm afraid to cheat on you. That's because, as guys know, I was saying, that I'm struggling with, the concept of like, hey, on May 12th, this is 6 weeks and we got to get married. I don't think we built enough of a foundation yet to get married. And that's what I was articulating. They kept on having me saying, like, I'm afraid to cheat on you. That was an edit. I was saying that have we built a foundation enough where we're going to be faithful with each other forever? I don't want to cheat on you. And they cut that whole part out.
Let's pause that. That doesn't sound any better. No. That doesn't sound any better. Let me tell you why. If you don't understand, I understood what he was saying, but it doesn't make it any better. Here's why. If I say I haven't built a foundation enough, I haven't built a deep enough foundation with you enough to know that I won't cheat on you. Why is that your instance? Why is your go-to about cheating and not about leaving the relationship or getting a divorce? No, deep it. Why did he choose cheating? Because your moral compass is under threat. Cheating is to do with your moral compass and to do with your moral, your morals and your integrity. When you talk about divorce, that's about a breakdown in a relationship. And so if you're telling me you haven't built the foundations don't make you cheat. A poor foundation does not make you cheat. It makes it easier to cheat, but doesn't make you want to cheat. So if you're already thinking about cheating, that's got nothing to do with foundation. That's all to do with the fact that you yourself are not morally integral. And that's completely different conversation. So when you tell me you haven't built a foundation, you're hoping that by building, and you're doing what your dad said, which is, if I find a good woman, if I build a strong enough foundation, I won't cheat. No. Don't get it twisted. Choosing the right party is important. Choosing somebody with the right qualities, the right ethos and mindsets and values and attitudes, absolutely, but they are not what stop you from cheating. What stopped you from cheating, the Bible talks about how Joseph was at a point in time where Potiphar's wife was daily trying to get him to sleep with her. I think I would have fallen. No offense to Joseph did well. I'd have fallen. Okay, I would have did it well, made sure she gets what she needs to get, and I told her, don't say anything to Potiphar, okay? All right, between me and you. All right, now that's my integrity talking to you. That's me. That's my integrity talking to you. I've done some things in the past. You know what I mean? But Joseph understood. That's me joking. Joseph understood that no, my integrity is to the Lord, and so I'm not going to do this against God. I'm not going to sin against God. So understand that it's not because there was a foundation. It's because where does your integrity lie? Now, clearly mine's in the bin a little bit, because why would I allow Potiphar to sleep with me? I think after a couple of days, I might have just been like, I haven't got a choice here. You know, I could die here. He's not thinking about it. I'm thinking about I could die here. You know what I'm saying to you? Let me just give her the good weekend. You know what I'm saying? Give her the good whackings over. That's what I'm thinking in my head. But that's because I'm thinking very dark. Of course, I'm getting to a better place. The Lord is changing my mind on those things. I'm in a better place. All right. So yes, he talks about that. Now about the altar, which is also interesting, because they were told to go to the altar. No, they weren't told to go to the altar, but they went to the altar, and everybody asked why they went to the altar, because surely they wouldn't need to go to the altar because, you know, their relationship wasn't as strong as such. But I think he said he was planning to say yes up into the altar. So,
you know, so
that's not true.
It's not true. Now, they're not saying it, but you kind of feel like a little pressure to go to the altar and stuff like that. But like, they're not articulating that. And the staff was amazing. They didn't push me to do anything that I didn't want to do. Like, you know, it was me and AD's decision too.
So he says it's him and AD's decision. What I didn't play was a first part of the clip where they addressed the contract situation. Somebody said that they had a contract of Love Is Blind, and it says that they can get fined a certain amount of money if they don't go to the altar. What's interesting about it, though, is that when he addresses it like a politician. And politician answers are very simple. When they answer it, they never answer it direct. When they ask about it, they'll be like, you know, I mean, they will tell you, does it even make sense what they're saying? I mean, really think about it. Like, instead of answering it directly and saying, hey, no, in our contract, it doesn't have that. Now, he did say that a little bit as well, but he also added that. When you add that, think about it. You know, you have to go to the DocuSign, and the DocuSign, you can't even download. Yes, you can download the DocuSign. All right, we do it all the time. All right, so you can get the contract and pass it around. You didn't do it, but someone else could. You know what I'm saying? It's a DocuSign. That's the whole point. If you didn't know that, you can download. Well, now you know. So when he addressed it, I was like, okay, so they could have, and he did say that, you know, you do feel a bit of the pressure. So you could have been pressured, right? And maybe they pressured you two to go there, and we don't know, because the way you guys are getting interviews is mad. I can't lie to you. This is probably the most press tourish season I've seen in a long while. Like, I don't remember Tiffany and Brett getting this many interviews. I don't remember even Lauren and Cameron probably, but even that was minimal. The way that they've set up the press this season, they are getting a lot. Them and Jimmy. You know, he says obviously he's not pursuing AD any longer. He wants to work on him. Well, the problem was that he wasn't ready for marriage, so he can't pursue her because he knows that she's ready for marriage. Let's have a little clip.
You made a mistake.
Yeah.
Is that something you still are pursuing?
I'm not pursuing AD anymore. You know, she said it on multiple podcasts. I think this week she's super single, and like, I support her on that. You know, at the end of the day, I'm personally going to therapy. I'm healing. I'm not available right now. I'm just kind of just working on myself, working on my business and stuff like that. So at the end of the day, all I could do was support AD. And you know,
now I watched another podcast where he said, "Listen, she wants to be married now. I don't want to be married now." It's that simple. And the reality is, yes, he's not ready for AD. Okay, all right. I don't think Eddie should be getting into any marriage just yet as well. Maybe slow down a little bit, but hey ho. But no, the reality is with Clay, he's not chasing anymore, right? I know on another podcast he said, listen, if I say it once or twice, I'm not gonna be chasing you the whole entire time. Like I'm not that kind of guy, and I understand it. But I think it shows a growth moment when he's not pursuing it anymore and not trying to push her to a place where he just wants to be in a relationship. I think he understands now. I just need to settle and be regulated to understand that, listen, it's about marriage. And if I'm not ready to be married, I need to leave her alone. Like, no matter how much I want it. And I think that's respectful. I think that's grown. And I think that shows a level of maturity that I do like to see in Clay. And I can't lie to you. Some of the things that he's shown, I really do appreciate that. Some of those growth moments. Now, he talks about death threats. And I really felt this was really unfortunate. Death threats and people leaving bad reviews. What I will say.
For y'all to like give me 1 stars on my business and leave
Oh,
bad
yeah, because
reviews.
that has nothing to do with
It got nothing to do with nothing. Like
Yeah.
people who didn't even rent my jet skis or my boat
People
outside.
are crazy.
It was crazy. And then my number got leaked,
Yeah.
and then people were sending me like crazy messages. My voicemail, I got like death threats. So
It comes with the territory,
It comes with the territory, but
unfortunately.
100%, I did not expect that. I thought
Now, when she said it came with the territory, I was like, baby, why you gotta say that? We know it comes with the territory, but let the guy finish. You know what I mean? Why couldn't you validate his feelings? If a woman had said that, would we be saying the same thing? We wouldn't. Like, let's not downplay the fact that, listen, the brother's business. And again, for women, their safety is one thing. For men, it's their financial security. The fact that you're messing with my business is madness to me. I just think it's mad. You know what I'm saying to you, right? So she was like, well, it comes to the territory. And I was just a little bit like, you just kind of dismissed him. This is what we mean by safe spaces for black men. Like, it comes to the territory. It's like, get over it. And basically that's what you actually just told him. You just told him to get over it, right? Now, I think there's a better way of doing that. I think there is a reality of saying that this does come to the territory, but I think there's also a need for just listening and just validating his man's feelings. You know what I'm saying to you? Without having to add that little part there, because it kind of invalidates him. And if you're a woman listening to this, probably you're thinking to yourself, but it does come to the territory. I agree. Right? But when you're having a one-to-one with somebody, we may say it because we're not one-to-one with that person. But if he came on my show and I was talking to him one-to-one, I wouldn't have said to him, it comes with the territory. And I'll tell you why, because I would have said, listen, hey, that's your livelihood and your business. But we can say it when we're outside because we're not having a one-to-one conversation with a brother. You know what I'm saying to you? It's different when you have a one-to-one. There are certain things that you say in a different way. I just feel like, but I could be a little bit, a little bit biased in that respect as well as a man. So I can also be respectful of that. And I have to be aware that my biases may come through a little bit as well.
So giving myself grace is something I learned about myself. Also, too, my therapist has been telling me that liberation isn't easy. I think that for black men, we do need to have that safe space, and I want to advocate for mental health advocacy and honestly just push the narrative that we do as men need to have conversations. We do need to talk about marriage and just have a good understanding of it. Because
And that's what we're saying about the safe space. I'm not sure about the pearls thing, but anyway, the safe space. Yeah, we do need safe spaces in order to be able to maneuver forward and be able to grow and be able to also share our hearts. Like again, but we don't want women to be our safe spaces in terms of being your recovery and your therapist. You know what I mean? Get a therapist. Safe spaces when you've done the work so that you know where to put your stuff into as well, right? Because part of also understanding safe spaces is also knowing when to put your stuff out, right? If you've assessed the land, you need to assess very well. If you keep putting yourself in places where people are not being safe, you need to assess why you keep putting yourself in unsafe places to share your thoughts. Why do you feel comfortable sharing your thoughts with people that are not safe? Why are you not doing the due diligence? That is also important too on the other side. So for an AD sugar daddy and the finances aspect, let's deal with this sugar daddy part stuff because this.
when we were actually in Charlotte together, she, we vibed off of entrepreneur spirit, we vibed off of working hard, and then when I felt like when we came back to the house, she dedicated all her time to be a wife, and that's cool and everything, but that's not really what I like. Fell in love with her about.
Listen, let me be honest with you. Like I said earlier on in my summary, there are 2 types of women that you want to be. You're gonna look at, right? Or 3. I spoke to a white lady about this, and it was so powerful. It's the hybrid. It is the working woman, and then it is the stay-at-home mother. You need to assess as a man what resonates with you. Some people are better off dealing with people that are hybrids, people who want to be a working career mother, and then there's other people who want to be a mother, stay at home, the wife, and then there are people who want to be the career woman. So you need to assess what kind of woman you have and what kind of woman you want to go with and what works best for you. So when he said, obviously, he fell in love with that entrepreneur thing, he fell in love with the worker, the career woman who probably wants to have kids too, because they spoke about it, right? The hybrid. And so unfortunately, what happened is he lost the hybrid and she went straight into wife mode and went into, I want to be taken care of. And listen, I believe that Clay's a person that will take care of somebody. And I can identify with him. I had a situation where why I came to that conclusion, because I was always in between the two. Like, do I want the girl that wants to be taken care of completely, that allows me to just focus on my vision and they can push me, or do I want to be able to be in a place where the person works too? Not because I want them to pay bills. Actually, it's more about the mindset, right? It's more about that. And I'm a very independent person, which loves an independent person too. So you working creates a level of independence in yourself. Now, it has its own downfalls, just like being a stay-at-home mom does, right? But the positives is that I love the fact that you are able to do your own thing. You have your own freedom, which means you don't have to question, you don't have to be on me all the time. You don't have to ask me if you want to go and do this or buy this or whatever. You can do it because you have your own money. We still work together, but we still can do our own things. And actually what allowed me to do is actually it pulled out my fullness of my provision. What I mean by that is it pulled out the provider completely in me, because I knew that you could do it anyway. Because I know you can do it, I'm going to do it for you. Oh, I know you can I know you can do your hair. I know you can pay for your hair. It's now not an obligation. Now it's I can do it because I want to do it, number one. Number two, I know that you could do it if I wasn't there. And so there's that level too. So maybe because of what he's experienced, he wants a woman who's independent. You need to figure out what you like. So as a man, you need to be aware of what you like. Don't expect women to now change how they are. This is how they are. They're hybrid. Maybe they're the career woman, or they are the stay-at-home mother. Don't complain when you get a stay-at-home mother and she's not a hybrid or she's not a career woman. You want that.
To me, this may not be true, but to me, it seemed like all the finances came from that ex-boyfriend.
So he had a club. She worked at his club.
She worked at his
also,
club.
in addition to real estate,
Exactly.
in addition to being a
It
realtor.
sounds like you're saying like maybe she wanted to be a stay-at-home wife. Is that what you're saying?
No, I'm not saying that. I don't think, because AD definitely.
Now, it sounded like he was trying to say that the ex-boyfriend was supplying the life. Now, we don't know that 100%. Now, what I did, I watched another interview with AD, and she spoke about how she had put her savings aside. So she had money saved up. That's why she was able to do what she did for 6 months. She had prepared herself. So she didn't have no way about it. But I do also understand that maybe he's thinking to himself, well, hold on. But you're into real estate, you're into this, you're into that. You know, you put your money aside, but what do you mean that you put your money aside? Because what were you doing? How are you able to do it? Because the finances conversation we had didn't really make sense. Maybe he's, you know what I mean? Like, I can understand how your mind can get there. But she explained that she had put money aside. Now, however she put that money aside, she had money aside. Now, I think that the killer thing is that, like he said, when she got back, she didn't have no stress of going back into work. I'm gonna tell you this for sure. I don't have. I probably could say I could do 6 months. I could do 6 months in a LIB. It would touch some of my savings though. It would. I wouldn't like it, but it would touch some of my savings. You know, I could do it 6 months. Pay my rent off for 6 months, whatever. You know, and then my phone bills and everything like that. To be honest, I could do it. The savings I have, I could actually do it. But the reality of the situation is, when I get back, I'm going to want to work hard, because I do not want to be now waiting again. Like, I don't have that kind of peace. Now, she must have a lot of peace because it covers her rent, everything like that. For 6 months, she must have a lot of savings. Now, for him, he may not have that kind of savings. His working capital may be there, but maybe your savings ain't there, sir. And so maybe your lifestyles are different, and maybe the way that your finances are working are very different. So you may want to take it easy in judging her in her position, because really and truly, you don't know. You know what I'm saying? You don't really know how her situation is, clearly, because you didn't really discuss it properly. But I understand why the sugar baby conversation came up. Now, she said she was a kept woman. I mean, that is what probably got people speaking when she said she was a kept woman. What do you mean by that? Someone's keeping you. And that's where the conversation came from in terms of sugar daddy. And then obviously, remember, then he's also picked up on that probably during the conversations in the pod. So that the ex, remember that ex that was too close, that we said that why did the ex have so much conversation that he could actually influence and say to them, we're not together anymore. We're together, so she doesn't need to go on the show anymore. Why did he have that confidence? I was asking myself that question. Maybe that's why he had that confidence, because maybe he was paying some bills. Maybe he was paying some rent. Maybe he was gifting her some money. That's why he was able to have the confidence to say, we're still together. He had some ownership over her financially. Maybe that's why. We don't know. We don't know 100%. But that's my thoughts about that interview. Quick little breakdown. I say quick, it's about half an hour. But I hope you guys like, share, subscribe, click on that bell button for notification on uploads. We appreciate you. Stay locked, stay loaded. We'll see you again very, very soon. Much love. Little black.